And some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Hello, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. It means we are live. We're here on Facebook, we're here on YouTube, and I know that you're just coming on in here. It's 102. Anyway, so many exciting things to share with you. We have a great week coming up. And if you have been getting our emails, you know I am offering for the first time ever a full bloom day. Yolanda, hello. Now, our full bloom days is a one-on-one me with you. And you can do it virtually if you want to, or you can fly into Brevard and we can do it that way. There's my girl. There's Nancy. You know what, Nancy? Weirdly, I thought about you just before I was coming on, and I just grabbed Pellegrino because I drank everything else, right? So I decided, well, I'm just going to get this. And if I see Nancy, cheers. Anyway, I don't have my hot melta or anything like that. So I want you to check out a full bloom day. Jenny just posted the link. It's at savingdinner.com/bloom. The reason I have decided to do this is there's a two-part reason. Number one, I did this myself. Love you back, by the way, Nancy. I did this myself way back when, probably 20 years ago when I was just starting to get Saving Dinner started. Now, it was a business type of a one-on-one thing, but it was life-changing because it taught me things that I needed to know about myself, and it gave me a vision for what was possible with my business. And hello, here we are all these different years later, right? We're still hopping. We're still in it. We're still doing it. And going on, it's 25 years this year. So something worked. Anyway, so there's that, number one. And number two, the other thing is that I now have the time for this. The decision that I made to say no to supplements is just so complex. But I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm not going to give it all away because I will be revealing everything later. When I made the decision, basically on my birthday, and it took a year of really trying to think about it, to stop manufacturing my own supplements, it was a hard one because I come up with some formulations that I really, really loved. And also, I felt like I was getting close so many times, that things were really starting to gain momentum. And, the supplement business is very complex, very high touch, and it requires a lot. And it was very hard for a teeny tiny company like mine, just to be very honest. And, that's also managing that kind of a thing is not in my wheelhouse. My thing is I teach and I speak, and I'll make things simpler and more understandable. That's my talent stack, as they would say. So this wasn't. The day that I gave this up, I was approached by somebody who I have known for 15 years, hadn't spoken to in 10. It was the next day, and said, "Hey, Leanne, it's been a minute. I'd love to, talk to you, get something on the calendar. Let me know what works for you." And I was like, "What's this? I haven't talked to this guy in 10 years." And he said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, the last time we spoke was you had texted me congratulations on the birth of my son, and my son is now 10 years old." So I was like, "Well, where did this come from?" Hey, Doris. So hear me on this. When doors close, there's a reason. And if you let go, there's always going to be something better and more right for you to take its place. I am not announcing this yet. I am merely telling you that I want you to be paying attention because I am going to have a partnership with a supplement company that not only do I admire, not only do I love these people and what they have done and watched their growth trajectory, because they've been around, I don't know, 10 years now. I guess it's about 10 years now. And the quality and everything else and the way we think and the science they put behind it, everything is check the box all the way through. And we haven't quite started yet with them. We've just kind of had this agreement. And it's extraordinarily exciting. So meanwhile, we still have some supplements that we are clearing out. We have like one InflaCrusher left and 3 draw. I mean, just itsy bitsy onesie twosies here and there. The only thing that we have anything bulk of is, and I'm talking like 100 and something, would be Crave water and over 40 water. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I just want you to see this, how powerful it is to let go and how powerful it is to allow God to do the work when you have that empty spot, because it will be filled. Hand to God. I'm a witness. It just happened to me. I'm sharing this with you because isn't it interesting? Can you imagine when you let go that something better is going to come your way? That's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. The other thing is, where's my Nancy? The other thing that happened was this on the weekend. Hello, hello. Do you see this? This is my gold medal. They make these. It's wood, and then they sprayed it gold on the back. But 14 women's teams, and my partner and I got all the way we won every game except one at the very beginning. We won every other game, so it was like 7 games. Well, this is my newest medal here for you. It's a gold medal. And we won we won everything. And then right at the very end, now my partner is 70, I am 67. Nancy needs it around her neck. And we were looking at these, they were in their 20s. They were young, and they weren't like barely holding it together. Okay. We won 11-7 against these women. We worked our fannies off. We dug deep. And it was just like, we took a timeout and it was like, man, I am not losing this medal match. I am not walking away with silver. I am walking away with gold. And that's what happened. This is what happens when you dig deep. This is what happens when you dig deep. Then day 2, I had my mixed partner who was very good. I just ran out of gas. I didn't eat properly the night before. I only had half a hamburger. I was just not hungry. I went to bed, and then I woke up around 1 o'clock in the morning. I was hungry, and I thought, no, if I eat, that's stupid. So I just went back to sleep, and then Mark started snoring and kept me up all night. I woke up and I just felt like, I didn't even sleep all night, and I had nothing in the tank. We did make it to finals, but we lost, and that means that, I medalists, we were 4th place out of 14 teams. So we still did well, and I hadn't practiced that much with him, but I will tell you, I learned so much. These are opportunities to glean incredible lessons, and I learned so much. I learned how you fuel is so critically important, what you do, and the sleep that you get, and hydrating yourself, and how to space out that hydration and everything. I mean, I was just like, I did it right on Friday, and I did not do it right on Saturday. And plus, it was, I don't know if you can see this, but girl, how's that for a tan? It used to, this is with sunscreen. So, I mean, it's just so much. I'm very proud of what we did because this was a goal and I worked hard on it. Okay. But there's still lessons to be learned. And there you go. Those were all things. And it's funny how all of this comes back to the quote. It is coming back to the quote. Quote of the week: be miserable or motivate yourself, whatever has to be done, it's always your choice. Girls, listen to me for a minute. You know what we're going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the power of words today. And I'm going to give you all the neuroscience and yappity, yappity, yappity to go with it. But, Wayne Dyer's right. The choices that we make are the things that are either going to bring us to this place of rewiring our brains for good and for our own benefit, or it's going to take us down all the way to the ground, right? I'm going to tell you why shortly. Jocelyn's in the house. I'm so glad to see you, Jocelyn. And Autumn, you too. And you too. Linda, hello. I see you over there. Sorry if I miss anybody. If I've missed anybody, hello. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it, because if you're a note taker, this show is for you. This is for all of us. All of us. We need this because we are so awfully careless with our words sometimes. And I want to just put it out there that the energy of your words and your language, what you are saying, is literally programming the way your life is going to go. Your wish is my command. As you wish. Do you remember that? As you wish. I don't know if you guys all remember, the genie jokes and the guy accidentally saying things. Well, yeah, I wish. And then, okay, there you go. And it's, no, I don't want that. And same kind of idea. But our brains are wired to listen to our voices and to do what it is that they say. On Saturday, when I was playing and I was I truly was out of gas. I truly didn't hadn't had enough food and hadn't done what I needed to do. And I started just telling my partner, I said, I'm out of gas. I just can't keep it up. I can't go. And the more I kept talking about how I felt, one, the more I felt it, and two, the worse I performed. That's because our brain is taking this. It's a neurological directive when we say these things, is the deal. So yeah, you got to watch your words. And, it's not just that that's a smart thing to do or a nice idea. It is literally creating the type of life that you are going to get, right? And for a pessimist, this is, almost magical, because a pessimist is, yeah, it's too hard. It's too this, it's too, oh, I can't do that, and blah, blah, blah. And just what? And then they'll go, see, I told you. And I will say to them, yeah, see, I told you too, because you have been creating this as you go, right? These are the things. This is where we take responsibility for our words, bring them in, notice them, and start saying, well, wait a minute here. Because at the end of the day, it's not that, anybody chooses to have a really crappy life. It's that they have spoken it into existence. Okay? We're going to dig into it, because this is absolutely imperative. Because our language doesn't just describe our reality, it codes it. Okay? When you are creating a website, that website needs to be coded, and they have their own language, and that language creates posts. That language helps to create everything it is that you need, to have your website pop. And when things don't go right, you suddenly see a piece of code in there, and you're going, what the heck is this? Because it wasn't coded correctly. We do this with our lives all the time because of the way that we're speaking. So I always think that of us as being in this place of reinvention, right? That's what the Full Bloom Day is about. It's about the day of reinventing yourself. I think about where we all are as women, and it's just like, this is where I am in my life. This is me reinventing myself for this decade of vibrancy that I want to create for myself as I go forward. Better health, more energy, a better community, being in touch with who I truly am, and not being afraid of that, and just stepping forward into that type of a new reality. So that is what, this one-on-one that I'm doing is, and this is why it was important to me way back when I did it myself for my business and setting all of that up. And it's why I'm doing this one-on-one with women who've decided that it's time for them to step into that as well. And by the way, that's at savingdinner.com/bloom. I got lost in my story and didn't tell you the whole thing. Can you tell I'm a little ADD? Anyway, but I want to dig into the science of how we speak to ourselves, because the science of how we speak to ourselves, it isn't just, it might be a little bit woo-woo, but it's not entirely woo-woo. It's really science and it's wiring. And this is what's important. And there's our girl, Jane. Hello, my sweet Jane. I'm so glad you're back. Good to see you. Okay, so the science. Number one, your brain is going to believe your voice first, right? This is why, I will tell you this. I think it's wonderful to be listening to podcasts and to be listening to books and reading things and getting new ideas. I think it's brilliant. We study. If we are lifelong learners, we study, we learn, and we bring it in. But the number one authority in your life is you. The number one authority, the number one voice that you are listening to and following it as if it is a 100% directive that needs to be followed is you. Catherine's in the house, y'all. Hey, Catherine. Virginia, too. My goodness, we're having old home week. It's nice to have everybody here. The way you speak to yourself is the way you are going to shape that next chapter that you want to live. So if you are saying things and you have this habitual language of putting yourself down and of limiting yourself, then this is what is going to come into fruition. I'm going to get more into this. So neuroscientists have shown that self-talkers alter their neural firing patterns. What does that mean? That means in your prefrontal cortex, this is really important, by the way, in your prefrontal cortex, this is where the planning and the complex thinking happens. This is where your goal setting, your emotional regulation happens. It's all right here. This is the place where every single part of you that needs the complexity and the abstract thinking happens, right? This is where we sort everything. The brainstem, on the other hand, is the knee-jerk reaction. The amygdala kind of works that same kind of way and is trying to keep you risk-free and safe, even if it's a really lousy situation. At least it's the same. It's what we know, right? That's what the amygdala does. But what we're trying to do is our brains are going to respond to our internal narration. So if you're telling yourself, you just can't do this, it's just too hard, it's blah, 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 it might as well be that you're at boot camp, you're a private, and the sergeant is barking orders at you, and you're on the ground giving them, 20 push-ups. It is that much of a reality check for your brain. This is how your brain operates. So if you are like me saying on, Saturday, I'm so tired, I can't dig it out, I don't have anything left to give. Saying it exasperated my physical situation. I could have said something else instead and just run off of, brain power instead of trying to just rely on physical power of what I had. Of course I needed that, but this is the way it is. Your nervous system doesn't argue. Your nervous system obeys, okay? We've talked about this before, but the reason that we're really getting into it and what have you is because the energy of your words have such power to literally program your life. And I really want to get this down because this is so important, because what we are saying about ourselves eventually become identity statements, right? If you're saying I'm overwhelmed all the time, or I can't get out from underneath X, or it's too much, or whatever, Your identity is one of overwhelm. You are an overwhelmed woman. You have used this word so much that it has now become a part of who you are. And yes, that's how you operate because your brain has been listening the whole time and has been setting you up for overwhelm. As a matter of fact, your reticular activating system is saying, oh, overwhelm? Should we pile on then? Let's find something else to do. Let's find something else to add to that because you are asking for overwhelm by simply uttering it over and over and over again. And it's habitual, it's years old, it's decades old, it's generational. Your mom did it, right? Your grandma did it. Everybody does it. We all talk to ourselves. We all have an internal narration system going on. But when you say I'm stuck or it's too late for me, yes, okay, too late for you. You're right. It is too late for you. That's your brain. You're stuck. Okay, let's keep you right where you are. That's right. Don't move, not left, not right. Don't go forward, not back. Right there. Stay like a dog. Your brain is telling you to stay like a dog. So if we understand that these become identity statements, and when we understand that identity is the most powerful driver of behavior, we have an opportunity to stand back and say, hold the phone. This is not what I want to sign up for here. Not at all. But it takes noticing and being aware. Of course, those are the most powerful tools we have in our toolbox. That noticing, oh, I'm saying this, and being aware that this is part of your internal dialogue will help to change the tide. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Now, the other thing is, and we've talked about this for heavens, I don't know, years, about your vibe, right? Everything has a vibration. Everything has a frequency. If I were to hold this up in a brick, probably this pencil, because it's written so many great words, is going to show you the different vibrations that it has. And, I love YouTube showing us how vibrational stuff works. I mean, they put sand on a vibe plate, and the higher the vibe, the more intricate and beautiful the pattern. The lower the vibe, not so much. It's the same with our words. It's the same with the food we eat and the exercise we get or we don't get. All of these things carry vibrancy or not. And vibration is frequency. So there's a doctor, and I've talked about this guy before, Moro Emoto's work on water crystallization, right? And it shows water molecules, blah, 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 change structure based on the words spoken to them. Have you heard this before? It's amazing. Yelling at plants versus loving words to your plants. But one of the things that they showed is that the crystalline things that they make as they start to freeze the water has a different crystals depending on the words spoken over them. Highly controversial, a little bit woo-woo, and people are going, maybe, maybe not. But you know what? I think it reflects a deeper truth that words carry vibrational energy. And if you think about it, of course they do. How do you feel when somebody says, I think I really admire you. I think you're incredible. Thank you. I thank you for all the work that you've done. Thank you for X, Y, and Z. Or somebody comes to you and says, you know what? I just think you're really, a terrible person. And I'm very sad that I ever met you. And, blah, 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 blah. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel bad? So listen, I don't know. Your body is 60% water, and that means that the words you habitually use may not just affect your mind, but it's also informing your biology. Do you know that? I've told you that. I think we're just big sacks of chemicals, right? And those big sacks of chemicals are reacting to the things that are being thrown out there. It's so true. And you can feel it yourself. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? But the third thing that we can do, besides all this other stuff of an understanding that this is informative biology, really, these words. The other thing is how incredible repetition is because it rewires. But we have to be strategic about it, of course. And I will say too, as powerful as affirmations are, you can't like look in a mirror and say, I am a prima ballerina. If you just started taking ballet classes and you're 65 years old and 50 pounds overweight. No, you're not. But I will tell you that you are working on becoming a prima ballerina at 65 years old. And I would say, good for you. I am becoming, I am learning to is a good way to keep from tripping your brain's BS detector. Because your brain's BS detector is going to be looking at you saying, yeah, I'm a prima ballerina. And you're looking at the mirror and they're going to say, girl, no, you're not. you know? But it doesn't preclude us from the words of I am becoming, I am learning, I am beginning, I am rebuilding. Those are all true statements. And that's what your brain can think. And your brain is now saying, oh, I get it. She's casting a vision. I'll go with that. Look at you becoming this because look at what you're doing. Your doing matches your saying. Your words are so incredibly important. Everything that you say has an opportunity to become who you are. That's why I always say that, who you are is always going to show up in what you do, not what you say. So we need to make sure that we have an alignment assignment with our words and with what it is that we're doing, right? This is cognitive congruence, and it will help your subconscious open instead of resist. Because you will resist every time if you're saying a bunch of stuff that's just far off the beaten track. But if you are learning, if you are becoming, if you are rebuilding, and you are saying this is what I am doing, because of what I am doing is what I'm becoming, works. Of course it works. Because this is a work in progress. Your brain can appreciate that. Number 4 is that your language is a nervous system cue. Your nervous system is everything. We don't talk enough about it. But we oftentimes live our lives in fight or flight, and no wonder we're so burnt out. No wonder we feel like we're constantly on cortisol. But when we understand that we can calm our nervous systems and that we can recalibrate them a bit, then things start to change. There's a trauma expert, her name is Deb Dana, and she explains that even the tone and the rhythm of our words can regulate or dysregulate our nervous system. That's pretty powerful. So we have to watch our language. When we are frantic and we're frequently using words like you always or you never, those kind of things, everything's falling apart, the drama of it all and the over conflating of everything. Maybe what we said instead is just like, this part over here isn't working. Instead of, my life is falling apart. My life is in ruins. I'm shattered. Can we cut the drama? Nobody's asked you to do that, right? We've just learned it, and this is what we have been doing. And the problem is that we are responding with the same stress in which we are expressing. And our body's chemistry is all messed up because of it. And you know this if you've woken up in the middle of the night with racing thoughts. That's a symptom of what I'm talking about. So if we then soften our language and say, you know what? This is hard, but I'm just like Diana Nyad, and I am finding my way. Do you see what happens there? Possibility opens up. And your brain loves that. Your brain loves being given that little tidbit of possibility. That little tidbit of possibility downshifts our physiology. It takes us out of this fight or flight site, And this can be a lever, if you will, of self-regulation when we learn to soften our language. We don't need to be so black and white. We don't need to over exaggerate and have this hyperbole type language happening. it's hysterical almost, you know? And we don't want to be those, we don't want to be women like that. We want to be women who are in control of what it is that we're doing. It makes it so much easier on ourselves. And the other thing you can do is you can use your journal to kind of deprogram and rewire this stuff. You can. There's 3 prompts you can use. I'll give it to you. Number 1 is, what am I telling myself right now? Right? Part of your noticing and awareness thing. What am I telling myself right now? Because remember this, when we are doing some expressive writing and just saying, this is what's going on and this is how I'm feeling, blah, 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 we can improve our immune function, reduce symptoms of depression. It's a, this is therapy on a page, just you and your Dollar General journal and your little pencil. You know how I love my pencil. Number 2, is this helping me become who I want to be? And number 3, what would I rather believe and say instead? That to me is the killer statement, because there is something, of course, that you would rather say, because there's something that you'd rather believe in, and there's something that you'd rather become. Then keep this same crap up. Am I right? Come on, you guys. So I want you to look at this. This is not just, the power of positive thinking. No, no, no. This is neurological pruning. This is getting in of the neurolinguistics of the whole thing. How you think and what you're saying. You're pruning it up. You're going to make it so that you can live in full bloom. You got to give the energy to the flower, right? Take off the dead wood. So when you cut the old stories and you start planting the new ones, man, that's right, Nancy, pinkies up all the way. It's very powerful, and it's all within us. It doesn't cost a dime, and we can do this. So here's what I want you to do. Look at these statements. Instead of doing this, I'm so tired of this. I've said this a million times. How about, I'm creating a new path? Which one shows intention? Which one shows possibility? Which one gives a way to something different, right? This one, I'll never change. Well, or how about this? Well, I'm still in process. I'm still working into, something different. Again, possibility. How about, I don't know how? I have a thing right now where I don't know how. Guess what I've decided? I'm open to finding a way. I'm going to learn how to do this. I might not know how to do it, but I'm going to bet you anything Google University is going to have a masterclass on it. So I'm going to learn. Right? There's some things that I need to learn. It's there. I'm open. How about, I'm too late? Now is a powerful time to begin. We have to stop defining ourselves by our years and start defining ourselves by the possibilities, not the fears, but by the courage to do something different. We have that. So the voice in the head, your voice in your head, that's the one that you're going to hear more often. That's the one you're going to listen to. And believe it or not, you are listening to every single complaint you utter, and you are taking notes and making decisions. Your neurology is making decisions inside of you because of it. Every complaint, every compliment, every apology, every excuse, everything that you utter becomes more and more truth to your life. So if you're saying stuff that's limiting you and putting you off and keeping you pushed back, then that's what you're going to get as a result in your life. You are going to create your world with your words, period. So your voice is your mindset, by the way. And your mindset becomes your behavior, and your behavior becomes your life. And this is why this is so crucial. And this is why it's so critical. And this is why we need to be open to learning about ourselves and thinking, is it time to drop this? Is it time to rethink what I'm thinking? So if you want to rewrite your story, you don't start with action, you start with language first. And here's a couple of things you might want to do. Begin tracking your most common phrases. What do you say the most? I'm so overwhelmed. Or is there a pattern there? Whatever. Seriously, put this down. Do it. Reframe one disempowering phrase a day and replace it with something that powers you up and makes you feel good. Try bridge statements instead of the forced, affirmations. I love affirmations, but if they feel BSy and you're saying, "Yeah, I'm a prima ballerina," whatever, the bridge statement of "I am becoming," a master dancer, or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, makes a big, big difference to how you feel. Also, read your journal entries out loud and listen to what you have to say. And what kind of energy are you carrying in your words? And take a look at that, because oftentimes, we hear bits and snippets of how we speak to ourselves every single day. And then when we see this big, powerful thing that we've written out and how sad it is, we can really take a step back and say, well, wait a minute, how do we rewrite this? And then the last thing I would offer you to, give you an idea of maybe trying this is start to practice speaking your goals. I am statements are really very powerful for speaking your goals. And remember that your voice is something that you hear automatically. Your name is very powerful for you. So if you start saying things that are good for you, like I will say, Leanne, you are an athlete and you know it. So therefore, X, Y, and Z makes a big, big difference, because when you're doing this, there's this, more intensity there in the neurologically pronounced words in your life. You are pronouncing blessings and cursings in your life. We want to bless everything in our lives, and we want to bless ourselves as well. So I want you to remember this, that your language isn't just a language. It isn't just a tool. It's a blueprint for what you want your life to look like. And the most important thing that you can do, the most exquisitely important thing that you can do, is to reclaim your language and to start looking at it. How can I have this language serving me and the life that I want to lead? It's just so powerful when we do this. So, I haven't said a lot about the one-on-one and how this whole one-on-one situation would work. I will say that there are payment plans available. I will say that there's all kinds of stuff that you can take a peek at as far as the page is concerned. It's at savingdinner.com/Bloom to see how this one-on-one would work, because it is a full day. If you come here, it is also a full day if you do it virtually. But this is the reason that I'm doing this, is because I have stepped away from supplements, and a fabulous supplement company, they came to me, by the way, they came to me and said, we would like to talk to you about this. So that's coming up. I'm not ready to announce it yet. It's coming though. And that's number one. And then the other thing is just how this full bloom day would go. If you want to see all the details and how it's going to, how the whole thing will unfold, it's right there on the page at savingdinner.com/Bloom. I'm really excited about what's next. I'm having a next chapter right now, and I'm looking forward. To you seeing my information too, Miss Nancy. And I'm looking forward to whoever's going to be the first one to come. I am getting some interesting DMs and questions being asked and stuff. And go ahead, you ask me anything. I promise you, I always answer it. So if you have a question about this, send it into support@savingdinner.com. I'll get to it, and I promise you I'll answer it. Meanwhile, have a fabulous week. All right? Peace be with you. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Hi, Lynn. I see you.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.